All right, good people. I am back once again in the late evening. Thank you if you're up and you're listening to me live. I thank you so much for tuning in with me, as well as my wonderful replay audience. Yep, I called it replay audience. So this replay will be available shortly after I am done. And again, thank you for joining my Aisha Speaks Jade page. So the conversation this evening is going to be on 4 steps to change your behavior for good. Again, that is 4 steps to change your behavior for good. So as I'm speaking, I'm going to use some of the examples some of the examples that are given, and in some way or another, I'm sure that we will be able to relate to it. So, what would you like to change? Probably my guess is that you could rattle off several ideas fairly quickly. Most people keep a running list of personal improvement targets, such as being less stressed, maybe losing weight, eating better, parenting differently, strengthening a skill, expand one's network, get a new job, and so forth. There's no shortage of ideas for how to change. Actually, making the change, that's a different story. It's well known that even our most ardent resolutions fall flat. How many of us can say that we made some promise to ourselves only to drop the new habit within weeks or even days? People do change, and in ways that are lasting. However, to be good drivers of change in ourselves, we can start by learning how to create practices that support different thought patterns. In order to change any behavior, we must learn how to think in new ways, because we all know we can have habits of staying stuck in the old ways and not allowing our mindsets to shift. Here are some helpful steps to follow. And before I start speaking on those helpful steps, thank you, Uno, for tuning in and listening to me. So set aside time for reflection. There are many names for reflections. It can be called strategic thinking, planning time, processing time, goal setting. Whatever your preferred name of it is, it's critical to set aside some quiet, reflective time each day if you're trying to make a serious behavioral change. This time allows us to get our thoughts clear and to visualize possibilities. We can't accomplish what we can't imagine. So reflection means taking a step back from the chaos of the workday. It's important to note that reflective time, it isn't necessarily about impressing the full force of your intellect on something, but instead, it's about creating the mental space to allow new, fresh thoughts to come to us organically. So there's a book that was recommended, and it's called Drive, Drive, and it's by Dan Pink. He talks about the phenomenon of functional fixedness, the idea that when we are overly focused on the most obvious answer, we have a hard time seeing alternatives. When we quiet the noise in our brain, we are better able to build the neural pathways that create new insights. So, in simple terms, make room for quiet so you can see the change you want to create. The next would be Get solution oriented, not problem oriented. Let me say that again. Get solution oriented, not problem oriented. Our culture often encourages us to fixate on the negative. So when something goes wrong in the workplace, we spend hours in meetings hashing out what happened and why. But when we are trying to implement lasting change, we have a greater chance of succeeding if we focus on solutions, not problems. So, of course, we need to initially understand the root of the problem, but obsessing over that isn't helpful. So, think about it this way. If we keep our attention on what's wrong or on our failures, those thoughts we dominate our headspace. So, again, if we keep our attention on what's wrong or on our failures, those thoughts will dominate our headspace. So on the flip side of this, if we choose to focus on what's working, those thoughts become more prevalent. So in coaching, they have this technique called appreciative inquiry. So if you get a chance, Google it and see what it means. It's called appreciative inquiry to foster, and it strengthens new, more positive mental maps. So through a series of questions, we can move toward what's positive and possible and away from the weight of what's difficult. So here's an example. Consider this. You may say, for instance, to yourself, I'm terrible at public speaking. How ironic, I do public speaking. But again, this is just an example. I'm terrible at public speaking because I'm an introvert. Well, I'm not an introvert. I'm a mixture of both. However, if you keep telling yourself that, then it will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the more that you speak negative, the more that you're just creating madness or chaos. You won't be good at it because you're speaking that negative into existence. But if you want to be a better public speaker, you will need to bypass these negative thoughts and focus on the positive to move forward. And again, this is just an example. You can apply it to whatever you do. You may want to consider that your introversion can also make you a keen observer of others, a critical skill in executive presence. You can consider that while you have felt anxious in the past, speaking in front of people, with sufficient practice, you'll get better, just as you have with other skills in your career. The solutions will come from your potential, not from the pitfalls of your past. So again, the solutions will come from your potential, not from the pitfalls of the past. Take advantage of moments of inspiration. More times for reflection and thinking means more opportunities for new insights. There are few better feelings than when we get the burst of adrenaline from forming new mental connections. This flash of insight releases positive brain chemicals and gives us a rush of energy. But it's fleeting. If you are trying to make a change, you'll be much more successful if you can act on that jolt of creativity. So when you feel that burst of inspiration, go grab a pen, open up your laptop, sketch out your thoughts in as much detail as you can, so you can recall them when the rush is over and you enter back into your normal routine. Once you have some great ideas jotted down, then let them marinate. Go back and commit yourself to executing what feels most right for you. Take the first step, even if it's a small one. I've said before, start small. Small steps are just as rewarding as the big ones. Change can be hard because it's a big hill to climb with uncertainty on the other side. So how do we begin? Instead of focusing on large transformational change, try instead to conquer smaller incremental changes. Instead of a leap, try a step. Making a first move and seeing success from it has a major impact on the brain. Because our brains don't know what to learn from failures to safeguard against future failures. Our brain doesn't exhibit the same type of neuroplasticity as it does with successes. In short, our brains learn fast what makes us succeed so we can repeat it. If we want to create lasting behavioral change, we should lose the all or nothing mentality. We can put ourselves out there, even if it's one small change at a time. So I hope that what I was speaking on was informative and that it was helpful for you guys. Because I know every time I have a conversation, as I keep saying, this is not just for you, but it's also very helpful for me in my personal quest as a public speaker, as well as in business and in life. I believe that I can apply a lot of this. And for you guys that are seasoned business owners or entrepreneurs or however you title yourself, if you have additional comments or recommendations, suggestions, make sure that you leave them in my comment box right here. And because I definitely check them. Thank you as always. Continue to like my page, my Aisha Speaks Jade. Make sure you share it. Make sure you make it go viral. Also, my other social media outlets that I have, you can look me up. They are all under Aisha Speaks Jade. So, of course, I have the Facebook, I have the Instagram, I have the Twitter, I have the LinkedIn, and I have the YouTube. So there is no excuses, guys. I'm all about doing positive, supporting, and I definitely appreciate the support back. At the top of my Facebook page, it has no ratings yet. I really would love for you guys to go in there, click that no ratings yet, and give me a rating. I appreciate feedback. I use it, I apply it and take it in, but no one has yet. But I love the comments that I do get back from Instagram and Facebook, and I haven't really had a chance to check the other social media outlets, but I will. And so that's what it's all about. Continue to love on yourself and take care of the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. Respect yourself. Self-respect and self-love and self-care is necessary. So make sure you guys do that. Until then, thank you so much. I am tired now. Excuse me, but a good tired, because I always like to keep up on my audios and or videos. I'll get around to showing my face when I'm ready again. But I appreciate you guys. And with that being said, enjoy the rest of your evening or wherever you're at globally. Have a better tomorrow on purpose. And with that being said, much gratitude. Namaste and Ashe. Peace and love.